Before you dive in, this is part 2 of the Mosca Minute, Strap Heads Explained. Make sure you check out part 1 by clicking the eye icon on the top right corner so you're all caught up and ready to get the most out of this video. What can you tell us about the history of our strap sealers?
So for as long as I've been here, I've been fortunate enough to see everything that Mosca has pretty much produced in the world of sealers, going all the way back to what we refer to as our standard 1 sealer, all the way up to our current sealer that we have now. By being an industry leader and innovator, Mosca has been able to take the sealers and almost shrink them down in size, if you will, and by less moving parts, by utilizing the SoniXs technology. And one of the things that they're known most for is being the most successful at running 5mm strapping material. As opposed to a spring flap track design, they were the first to create a controlled to open strapway, which made them really the pioneers of, and the most successful at running 5mm strapping material, where at the time only larger and wider strap was available. This is more, of an economical option for customers to be able to run a smaller strap when that's all what was needed.
So what's the difference between heat seal, ultrasonic seals like our sonic sealing heads, and friction sealers?
Okay, so each one does have its place in the market. Heat and friction were basically the earlier designs. So heat, literally it thermally melts the strap ends to a molten state, and then they're pressed and cooled together. It's principally used with polypropylene strapping. It's less suitable to be used in cold, damp applications because it's hard to keep a heater constantly up to temperature in a cold, damp application. Then also it has more mechanical parts when compared to SoniXs. Like I just mentioned, with a cold damp application, but even just in a regular application, heater, as soon as you turn the heater system on or the machine on, the heater's constantly running up to temperature, and our heaters are around 500 degrees. So it does give an increased risk for a burn if you're not careful, and it does have a longer startup time than SoniXs does. So with our SoniXs technology, we're using ultrasonic frequency used to generate vibrations, which under pressure transfers the energy, the ultrasonic energy from the sonotrode into the strap, changing its molecular state, and that's what causes it to basically be joined together. The SoniXs technology does yield the strongest weld out of the 3 sealers that we do have. It's completely safe to use with both polypropylene and polyester strapping, and it's excellent in cold damp applications because you don't have to worry about any of the water getting on it, and we have a specially designed sonotrode that has a ceramic coating. So in our stainless steel machines, it can be literally used in complete washdown applications without affecting it at all whatsoever. The SoniXs technology is more simplified. You have less moving components. And, Mosca, as being a technology leader, is always looking to use more maintenance-free components, and that's what they do with the SoniXs. And the last head that you asked about was the friction weld. Think of basically rubbing 2 sticks together to start a fire. That's essentially what you're doing in a friction weld system. You are taking the 2 ends of strap, and there's an oscillator inside the head that oscillates the strap ends together, and that's what generates the heat. This was the other design that was out there along with heat seal in the earlier days. What made it attractive is that you could use it. It was universal for both polypropylene or polyester strapping with no concerns. It is primarily used in high tension applications. The only minor drawback to it, though, is that it is more maintenance intensive because there's a lot more moving parts to that type of system.
So out of the 3 sealing types that we just discussed, what yields the strongest weld?
So based on our testing, what we're able to find is the tensile strength of a SoniXs seal represents up to about 90% of the strap's tensile strength, whereas compared to the heat seal and the friction, those roughly got to about 65%. So in regard to taking a control, which would be a solid piece of strap with no weld in the middle, they take a sample of a welded strap, put it on our machine in the production department to check the tensile strength, and there's a force rating at which the weld fails, and it's at that point that they're able to determine just how efficient the weld is and how strong it is.
What makes your SoniXs head so unique?
So the SoniXs head is more unique because it is utilizing older technology, but again, we were the first ones to patent it and put it into a strapping machine application. For us, it's a lot less moving parts. There's less movement on those parts. And, you know, Mosca, they took a lot of care with using as close to wear-free items as possible, and also like bearings that are sealed and lubricated for life. A lot less maintenance intensive from that standpoint. And again, one of the big things that sets it off from especially heat is just its universal ability to be used for both polypropylene and polyester strapping.
What led Mosca to the ideation of the SoniXs head?
So Mosca is known in the industry as being the innovator and pretty much the industry leader amongst packaging equipment, especially strapping machines. Although SoniXs technology has been around for a long time as far as using ultrasonic frequency to weld items, they were the first to patent it for strapping machine use. In doing so, we were able to take what was once only available to larger machines, they've been able to put that into the smaller bundling equipment. And because of doing so, big thing about it being universal for both polypropylene and polyester strapping, it has really allowed us to utilize polyester strapping material in bundler machine applications where we used to never be able to do that before.
How does Mosca's strap head design help reduce maintenance and downtime?
One thing you'll hear throughout a lot of this whole discussion that we've had is how Mosca is an innovator. They utilize latest technology. They really do. Their heads are designed and tested to meet the evolving needs of the industry, embracing all that technology. And it doesn't just stop with, the electronics side. They do utilize and test out materials, methods at which, to manufacture the items. And they really want to use longer lasting components to be less maintenance intensive and to give the customer the most uptime that they can.
Need help choosing the right setup for your operation? Visit EAM-Mosca.com or talk with your application specialists. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more end-of-line education with EAM-Mosca.